Hi, my name is Anu Chetur. I am a director here at MyAryaka Networks, and today I will be taking a few minutes of your time to walk you through MyAryaka's customer-facing portal called MyAryaka. MyAryaka is a single pane of glass that can be used to monitor your security as well as networking service that you can purchase with MyAryaka. Before we get started with the MyAryaka demo, I'd like to take a minute to talk about MyAryaka. MyAryaka was founded about 14 years ago as the industry was switching to moving its resources to the cloud and wanted WAN optimization and software-defined wide area network. And over the years, we have transitioned from being a network as a service solution to security as a service edge solution. And today, I will be focusing my demo to walk you through the networking portion that you can watch and manage on MyAryaka. So let's take a look at the MyAryaka portal. On my screen, you will see the MyAryaka portal is organized as Home, Monitor, Config, Status, Billing, and Reports tabs. And it gives you a comprehensive view into the subscription that you have with MyAryaka Networks. The home screen, as you can see, is organized by your key performance indicators at the top, followed by top applications, sites, and further as you scroll down, you will see circuit information. The website is organized so that you can see your top sites, your top circuits, and the health of the overall subscription right as you log in. So right here, you can see the sites are organized in a bubble graph. And what that lets you do is see that your sites are well within the subscriptions that you have purchased and that you're not overutilizing or you're not underutilizing the service. So for an example, that bubble changes color as you get closer to oversubscription, and the size of the bubble lets you know how large the subscription is for the site, and is a very useful piece of information. Not only is the information available for you, you can click it and then drill into the site to see its details. So I'm going to do that right now. What it will let you do is switch to the monitoring tab, and you can get to the monitoring tab without using that interface, but what it lets you do is see the detail of the site that you're interested in. So right here, you can see the reference site has been set. The traffic direction has been chosen for you, which you can switch if you're interested in. The time selection is the last 24 hours, and that's the default selection. Now you can see the overview of your wide area network. It shows you your total traffic in the direction you chose, and what are the characteristics of the traffic on your wide area network. How much of it is used by each of your providers, how much of it is traversing each of the wide area networks that you've configured for yourself, how much of it is going to a remote site, what application uses that traffic, and so on. So all of that is presented to you right away. And you can also drill into a small area of time that you're interested in and investigate what caused that spike of traffic. So as you can see, I've zoomed into a smaller time range, and you can see that most of the traffic appears to be going over one of these specific ISPs, and most of it appears to be going to a cloud security connector. And each of these components are further drillable. So click to see more details. So you can see the ISP distribution on a specific network, what application is using your traffic, and so on. To see further more details, every monitor page in MyAryaka is equipped with a context-sensitive quick links nav bar at the bottom. So depending on where you are, this nav bar will automatically change to show you more details. So right now I'm on a cloud security connector, and at the bottom I can look at the health of this cloud security connector. I can look at the flows that make up the traffic on this cloud security connector, and I can also just see who are my top talkers depending on what I would like to investigate. So let's just go look at the flows. This page, when it loads, will actually show you the list of the flows that were sent on this cloud security connector from this site for the time range that was chosen. And it will tell you for the applications that are discovered in the network, were they automatically discovered or did the user configure it to be shown that way? So you can see, for example, this particular flow was auto-discovered. It was Microsoft Azure at the time, and it's from these clients to these servers, and it was sent from their local VPN zone over to a remote destination, right? Now, once you're done investigating this portion of it, you can switch back up and use the breadcrumbs to navigate back up and look at the other details of the site. Now, depending upon the nature of the network or the nature of the ISP that you have chosen, the navigation bar will automatically adjust for you. So I'm going to switch to a different network for the same site, and you can see the quick links have adjusted to now show things like compression and SSL and the health and QoS of this network. So I'm going to switch to compression for a minute, and you can see the profile of the traffic that was sent at that time had a certain amount of compression applied to it. And you can see how much data reduction happened and how much bandwidth savings happened at this time, right? Now, this is a very nice tool when it comes to having to deep dive into your network to see what has been going on. So you can specifically choose a narrow window of time that you're interested in. You can dive into seeing how each ISP behaves for you for your site. But if you're interested in looking at a more overview of your network, on the left navbar, there's a page called SD-WAN Insights. It gives you your top high-level view of what your entire service looks like without having to look at it site by site. It will tell you the amount of degraded sites there were at a given point of time, what was your LAN versus WAN comparison. You could see your top sites that got compression, how much of the traffic traversed Aryaka's layer 2 core instead of the layer 3 core, because those are also options you can purchase to use, and what does the application distribution look like overall for your service. These are also navigatable. So you can click and you can go to the site that you're interested in and see its details without ever leaving the page, right? So it gives you both a high-level view as well as a drill-down view into everything you want to see about your subscription. Let us say you're interested in a little bit more than historically what's been happening to your site. You want to see kind of a topology information of how your sites are laid out. On the status page, there is a page called Network Discovery, and this will draw for you what your site connectivity looks like. So this tells you that Frankfurt is your most populous POP. It has the most number of sites connected to it, and they all appear to be healthy. You also have a few sites out in Amsterdam, which have one site that's experiencing a warning, one site that's experiencing an error, and two that appear to be healthy, and one site in Beijing that looks fine as well. For the sites that is not doing well, you can click it to see details of the site. Now, this particular view will let you see what's going on at a very high level. So it tells you, looks like both your tunnels from this side are down, right? So you can look around and see the overall health of your site. And if you as a customer have a lot of sites and this is too much to look at, there are advanced filters at the top that will let you search for what you need. So you get a more compressed view of your network. So for example, if you only want to see sites that have errors and warnings, you can apply that filter and you will see a more relevant view to you. Now, if you're interested in seeing more in terms of your status, the left navbar also has sites, which actually lets you know this is a complete list of your sites. And even for the ones that are healthy, if you want to see the details, you can click it and it will tell you things like, let's take a look at the ANAPs of the site. What ANAPs are deployed, what serial numbers are out there, how are your interfaces wired. This portal gives you a 360 view of each of your sites that are deployed and its connectivity to your other sites. Now, yes, the portal gives you a lot of visibility into the state of your system, but also it gives you visibility into the configuration of your network. So the config tab will let you customize what happens to your site, what kind of bandwidth needs to be allocated, should there be an extra ANAP, should the site be deployed in a full mesh, do you want to deploy a virtual machine? All of these are completely configurable in a self-managed fashion from MyAryaka's configuration tab. So let's take a quick look at it. So click on a site to see its details. So I'm going to switch to the view of the basic details of the site. And this shows you the name of the site, what size did the site get subscribed for, was an ANAP installed, which is our Aryaka network access point. It lets you deploy a physical device at the site for easy connectivity, for compression, deduplication, and other proxying, as well as security enforcement, if that's what the customer would like. And routing, topology, all of that is controlled right here from the configuration tab. What I would also like to show you is that you can manage your custom applications. So we do have the ability to discover the applications on the network on the fly. But let's say you had a custom app and the custom app is hosted at an IP on a custom port using a custom protocol. You can go ahead and create it. You could also create an app that's both discovered and configured manually by hand. So you can identify an application with a custom name, either using Aryaka's deep packet inspection or using a domain name with SNI information or layer 3, layer 4 IP port protocol combinations. And then you can manipulate what happens to this application. You can write custom control policies to say, I would like this application to be sent over the internet or send over Aryaka if certain SLA measurements are met, or sent directly between the site pairs over internet tunnels if another set of SLA measurements are met. So all of these are configurable from the portal. And they are completely self-managed. So with the click of a few buttons, the changes take effect on the network right away. I'd like to take a minute to switch accounts so I can show you what it looks like when virtual machines are manageable from MyAryaka. So this is the config view of a different customer account where you can see virtual machines that are configured. The user can add virtual machines to sites, which can then be used to host things like a checkpoint or a Palo Alto firewall. And on that firewall, you can run your standard configurations as you would like. The portal lets you onboard the virtual machine and also run its life cycle. So you can stop and start the VM, you can remove the VM from the data path, you can do all of these types of configurations right here from the portal. The other cool thing about the portal is in addition to all the extensive things that you can configure from the left nav bar, you also get to see complete order history. So this is the change history for everything that was done to your network. You can see a complete list right here. You can see things like QoS markings were adjusted by a specific user. So this user changed QoS marking on this date, and these were the changes that were made. So changes show up. So you can see exactly what changes happened to your network at what time, by what users, right here on the portal. So you can see this row was deleted by me in this case for the purposes of this demo. So you can see not only the current state of your configuration, but you can also see what changes were done to your system over time. Okay. While I'm here on this network, I'd like to take a minute to go back to the monitor page and show you, in addition to connecting sites to Aryaka's core network, you can also connect your remote users. So the left nav bar under monitor called private access lets you have visibility into your remote users connecting into the network. So these remote users connect to their nearest POPs and then use Aryaka's core network to access the sites that are connected to the network. So in this view, you can see there are 110 unique users connected to the network. And you can see how many closed successful sessions, how many failed sessions. You can also see distribution of these sessions by POPs, which users have the most data volume exchanged, and you can also see the list of actual users connected to the network, how long did they stay connected, what POPs did they connect to, and so on. So it gives you really good insight into what's been happening, not just from sites, but also remote users. So for example, if I pick a user whose activity I would like to monitor, I can see, for example, what POPs did they connect to, how long did they stay connected, how much volume of traffic did they exchange with us. And if you switch back, now that you know the IP address information, to the flow space that I showed you earlier, you can also monitor their activity on the network. All right, so now I'm going to show you how you can take a look at the SLA report that Aryaka provides, as well as the billing information that Aryaka's portal provides to you. Let's take a look at the SLA reports that the MyAryaka portal provides. So under the reports tab of MyAryaka, we have three very interesting links that the customer can use. The first one is site reports. It gives them a 10,000-foot view of what did their month look like, right? It shows them what was their subscribe bandwidth, what percentage of their subscribe bandwidth is actually used during the month. Now, the key factors there to keep in mind are every site does not always use everything that they purchase, but the report gives them a clear idea of what did their utilization look like, what were their peaks, what were their 99 percentiles, and we have a stat called peak usage indicator, which helps them also figure out, do they need an upgrade? So if a site exceeded say 70% of their subscribe bandwidth for a period of time, it'll record for you how many minutes did it exceed that threshold. So it's a clear indication of, hey, maybe I need to upgrade my site. So the report actually helps you see what type of utilization your site has, and maybe are you a candidate for an upgrade if you choose. The other cool report here is the link report. This actually tells you what are your ISPs doing? How well utilized are your sizes of ISPs? Do you maybe need to upgrade your ISPs? Not in terms of just the utilization, but also health. So as you scroll down, you can see what was the average loss experienced by your ISP, what was your average latency experienced. All of these are really nice indicators for the overall state of your network, not just your connectivity to Aryaka, but also how is your ISP doing in general, right? That is a really nice thing to have. Now, one of the cool other things that we do is we give you an SLA report. As our customers sign up with them, we sign an SLA promising them the state and the health of their network. And we give them a clear indication of how well we did for them during a month that they chose. So this is the SLA report. It shows you how many violations Aryaka had experienced in the month that was chosen. And it lets you deep dive into what type of violations happened. The account that I'm showing you right now has no violations, but I should still be able to click and show you details. So for example, there were 1,512 instances where a measurement was taken for an SLA violation, out of which 0 violations happened. So I'm going to click to see the details. What this gives you is a very detailed look of all of the sites and the site pairs that this customer has, and what type of SLAs were measured for you, and what type of violations were recorded, if any. This particular customer has 0 violations, as you can see, but you can also look into the details to see what does it look like for an individual site. What measurement was taken? Did it cross a threshold? So you can see very clearly if or if not a violation has occurred. And this is really cool. You can also export this and use it in a spreadsheet for your own use as you'd require, right? Then over onto the billing tab. The billing tab has 2 views. There's your basic documents view, which will let you see your signed orders and the invoices from us to you. But what this lets you do is download a PDF and take a look at the original document sent to you. But there's also the other view. The other view lets you actually deep dive into your contract so you can understand what's been signed. So you can see this particular customer has 2 quotes. You can click on each of the contracts and see the details of everything that was purchased. While this is a really cool view to see how many sites you bought, how much bandwidth you purchased, how much redundancy you've arranged to be set up, you can also see how much of it was deployed. So you can click it, and for each signed SKU item, you can see what was purchased, how much of it is actually configured, are you oversubscribed, are you undersubscribed, if you have an elastic charge, where did it come from? So you can see all of these detailed view from billing, and it gives you a very clear idea of why you were invoiced a certain way, right? These are all really nice ways to look into your configuration, into your billing quotes. The other thing I wanted to show you before I sign off is that we have 2 other really cool things that we have on MyAryaka. One is that every page, no matter which page you're looking at, has a little help button at the very top. It helps you click and open a tab on our help portal called help.aryaka.com, which helps you understand what you're seeing on the screen. It could be a graph on your screen, it could be a config form you're looking at, it could be your contracts view page, or even your SLA reports. Could be any of these things. It will help you understand what you're looking at by giving you a verbal explanation of what has happened. And also at the same time, at the bottom, there is a little help assistant that helps you kind of walk through all of the various other resources that are available to you, like a YouTube video you could find that helps you figure out what's been going on with your portal. While I'm here, I want to take a minute to show you that at the very top, the portal has an alert icon. What this lets you do, and this is set up by each user as you'd like, to tell you what active alerts are in your system. So this is called the alert dashboard. This can be completely configured by the end user, and it can be configured to alert to you at different severity levels when there are network events that has happened. Now, not only will the portal give you these network events to view on a dashboard, you can also be notified via email when these events happen. The notifications are so custom that you can say that you only want to be notified when X events happen in Y amount of time, or if it only happens during my business hours. All of these are completely configurable. And given the severity or any specific alert that you're interested in, if there was a history to the alert, you can study it right here on the page. So you can know, is this a recurring event? Does it happen all the time? Should I be paying more attention to it? All of that shows up right here. Not only do you have all of this, we also have something called the alert analytics. So if you don't want to look at it alert by alert, you can look at the analytics to see how many events have happened, either by severity, by location, by type, and each of these are further drillable. So you can look at, for example, this site has 9,615 minutes of an event that has been occurring. You can click it and see what did it look like for that month. What portion of my month was healthy? What portion of it was not? What types of alerts occurred and over what duration of time? And you can see detailed views of it, both spread across a timeline as well as in a tabular format. So you have a very clear indication of what's been going on. And if you're interested in a specific time window, say between 4th and the 5th of October, you can actually click it and navigate into the time range and see what's been going on. What I was basically trying to explain is that MyAryaka portal is your single pane of glass into your subscription. It gives you a detailed view of what's happening now, what has been happening for months in the past, or even quarters past. You can look at the health, the utilization, the billing, and all of this together in a single portal without ever having to leave. The other thing is, depending upon how you're set up, right on the top nav bar, because I'm a demo user, I don't have this to show you, but when you do take a look at it, you'll see there's an item at the top called the ticketing portal. You can click it and we'll actually take you to the support ticketing portal where you can raise a ticket with the support team and have them look at an issue you might be facing or simply getting them to answer a question for you. So all of that is integrated right with the portal and you do not have to leave to get all of that information in one go. Thank you for checking out the MyAryaka demo. If you have any questions, please visit the aryaka.com website. In an upcoming demo, I will walk you through Aryaka's Security as a Service Edge visibility on MyAryaka's portal, and it will let you manage and view and troubleshoot these security services on the MyAryaka portal. Thank you.